So this is definitely going to be my last response, Gary, because we're not really going anywhere here. But I just wanted to counter the claim that DNA determines an organism's shape, behavior, um, consciousness, or anything like that. Um, Genes do not make organisms. We can say that as a drastic oversimplification. Um, but the reality is that the genes and the cellular machinery and the self-organizing dynamics of the whole system is what is responsible for making the organism. In other words, the organism makes itself. The whole organism makes itself. There is not enough information in the one-dimensional genetic code to specify everything that goes on in a single cell, much less a multicellular organism. There are other mechanisms involved. And just as an example of this, um, a pufferfish has 28,000 genes. A species of rice has 38,000, almost 38,000 genes. Um, a certain flowering plant, Arabido, Arabidopsis thalania is the genus and species, has more than 28,000 genes. Um, all of these organisms are far simpler than human beings, right? So you would think if genes make organisms, that humans would have more genes than all these organisms. Well, human beings have around 20,000 genes. So something obviously is going on here that doesn't involve the genes. There are epigenetic influences which determine the complexity of the morphology of an organism. It's related to the genome, but the genome is not determining the complexity of the organism. Um, and it seems that what really brings out the shape, behavior, the characteristics of any particular species or individual in a species are these self-organizing dynamics, these epigenetic influences, which use the genome certainly and are influenced and related to the genome without a doubt. But to see the genetic code as the cause of anything that an organism is involved in is wrong. It's just wrong. And, there's nothing phantasmagorical about saying that. Uh, you know, go look at the evidence. Even Richard Dawkins would tell you that it's a drastic oversimplification to say genes make organisms. That's just not how it works. Genes can't do anything without proteins already existing. And that is very significant. Think about what that means. Genes, DNA, cannot make proteins without certain cellular machinery, other proteins already existing. I mean, do you see the circularity here? That means that there's a certain minimal level of complexity required for life to exist. Um, and this gets back to abiogenesis and how life originated, and we've gotten into this before, Gary, where I say the membrane came first, and certain autocatalytic reactions took place within that membrane that then developed nucleic acids, probably RNA first and then DNA. But that DNA or RNA or any kind of nucleic acids are not the fundamental aspect of life. They do not determine the self-organizing dynamics of living organisms. They are an additional adaptation or development that just arose due to the inherent qualities of molecules when they get into certain situations. That situation, in this case, being bound in a membrane, where all the elements, the molecules inside, are highly reactive and develop a simple metabolism, and then from there, you don't even need DNA for it to reproduce. If you have a semi-permeable membrane, more of these autocatalytic molecules will get into the membrane, and eventually it will grow in size such that it needs to divide, and it will split, and each new membrane encased cell, very simple cell, will have all the ingredients to continue to expand again, and eventually through this process, RNA and DNA would arise that would stabilize the process and provide for a more detailed inheritance of traits and so forth. But again, it's the genes that enable all the other complicated things that organisms do, like behave, interact with their environment, make choices, have awareness and conscious experience of a world. All of that is involved in the process of evolution, not just random genetic mutation and natural selection. So yeah, that's it. This is the end of the debate, because we're not really debating. We're just talking past one another, so it's really pointless. So yeah, that'll be the end of this argument.